Hey everybody, this is John from the HR Social Hour Half Hour Podcast. This is a special DCSHRM edition of the show. I'm here with Nicole Belyna, who is the president of DCSHRM, just to talk a little bit about the conference that's coming up, give you some more information, and let you know what's happening. So, Nicole, welcome.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
We've known each other for a bit. We talk, and we've talked offline about other things, but for those folks that don't know you, introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about what you do, maybe outside of DCSHRM, and how long you've been part of the group, and whatever you'd like to share.
I'm the president of DCSHRM, as you mentioned. I'm serving my second and final term as president. I've been on the board since 2012 in a variety of different capacities, so that's been a great opportunity for me to get involved with the DC area HR community. But outside of that, I am the manager of recruiting and recruiting strategy for Thompson Creek Window Company. We're a window and door manufacturer located right on the DC Beltway. So that's my day job. When I'm not working or doing SHRM activities, I really enjoy riding my bike, being on the water, and just kind of taking in everything that the DC area has to offer. So,
as someone that gets to visit the district quite often, there's a lot to see and a lot of great stuff there. And I think being able to do a conference like yours downtown is a great thing, especially maybe somebody that's in Northern Virginia or Maryland or close, but not necessarily right there. There's a lot to do. Now, the conference is coming up on May 18th, and the title is Building the Future of HR Today. Talk to me a little bit about, how you came up with the conference title and what you see coming out of that event on the 18th.
It's sort of a play on the location of the conference. We are having the conference at the National Housing Center, which is the home of the National Association of Home Builders. So we sort of played off of that. This has been our second time at that location. It's really been, we've had a great experience there, and we're excited to be back. Building the future of HR today is kind of all-encompassing. I think we have done a really nice job, or I should say the conference planning committee has done a great job of taking different pieces of HR and putting those together to kind of give you the building blocks that you need to have a complete day of professional development.
I know you have a morning and an afternoon keynote. Can you talk a little bit about those particular keynotes or the speakers that are involved?
Yeah, I'd love to. So our opening keynote is actually with Washington Field Office of the EEOC, which we're really excited about. They've been a great partner to DCSHRM over the years and have been a great resource to our members. And so they'll be giving us kind of a behind-the-scenes look on EEOC investigations, what you can expect if you are in that situation and you are part of an investigation, or perhaps what you can do beforehand so that you can prevent any sort of investigation. So I think that that's something that can be really beneficial to any HR department for sure, or even beyond that, any company who finds themselves in that unfortunate situation. And then in the afternoon, we have something a little more lighthearted. We have Keith Scott and Rebecca Scott. They're a husband and wife, Tall Small Productions, and they're actually going to talk to us about how to be a better public speaker and getting rid of those filler words that we all know so well, I've probably said several of them in the last few minutes. And that'll be a really fun, interactive closing keynote that I hope will keep the energy up and keep the audience engaged right up until the end of the event.
Now, there are other breakouts during the day. It's not just EEOC, which that sounds like a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing that. And the speakers talking about how we speak and thinking about how we speak too. But talk a little bit about those breakout subjects and some of the folks that you have engaged to run those sessions.
So we'll have 3 different breakout sessions. We'll have one breakout session in the morning, and then we'll have 2 afternoon breakout sessions. And we cover all different areas of HR and recruiting. You've got a diversity and inclusion breakout. There is a more of a business strategy focused presentation, employee engagement, salary surveys, how to understand that and leverage that in your compensation strategy. We've got emotional intelligence, sexual harassment, military recruitment. As I said, everything that you can think of that you might want to cover, I think we've covered all the bases.
I know something that everybody looks for in these types of conferences, regardless if it's DC, if it's Virginia SHRM, National SHRM, or not even a SHRM-related event, but something that is HR focused, credits are always on a lot of people's minds. Mm-hmm. I am assuming that there's an opportunity for SHRM or HRCI credits with this particular event?
Absolutely. So we have both pending. 6 credits total for the day. 3 of those credits will potentially be business credits. So, if you need those strategic credits, we'll have them. So that's exciting.
What else do you see, or if somebody came to you, hey, Nicole, I've never been to a DC SHRM event. Maybe I've never been to a SHRM event of any kind. And, I don't really need credits, or I don't really understand that. What else do you tell somebody would be the value in attending an event like this?
Yeah, easy answer for sure is networking, getting out there to be able to meet other professionals in the community and making those connections. As you know very, very well, you may already be interacting with some of the attendees on social media and to be able to meet them in person. So I think being able to have that sense of community and being able to make those connections is pretty invaluable as well.
If someone let's go back to that person that's never been to something before, any kind of event like this, what would you recommend for a first-time attendee? How should they prepare? What would you do? Or do you remember what you did? Because I don't remember what I did the first time I went to something like a DC SHRM. But what would you recommend to somebody that's coming in that's never done anything like this before? How would you have them prepare or recommend for them to prepare?
Yeah, a couple of different things. Before I attend a conference, I love to plan out my schedule. So, I would take a look at the sessions, read the descriptions, see what piques my interest, what might be impactful that I can take away for my own organization. And then, feel free to reach out to maybe board members or our executive director and say, hey, this is my first time. We're a pretty welcoming chapter and we're happy to make those introductions when you come in. Love to meet new attendees, potential members for sure. I'm happy to facilitate that too.
If someone was coming in for this particular event that's never spent any time in the district, what would you recommend? So let's say I come in on Thursday night, or I'm staying through Friday, because it's an all-day event, which is great. And you mentioned the credits and having ample opportunity there. So it's an all-day thing, but maybe I make a weekend out of it, or come in, like I said, a day early or something. Yeah. What would you recommend to somebody that's never been there to do or see in a very short period of time? Like that?
Well, if you've never been to DC, the easy answer is hit the National Mall, because you've got a bunch of monuments all within walking distance. And for me, if it's the first time you're seeing some of those monuments, or if it's, the 100th time, to me, it is always sparks some emotion. And then on that same strip, you've also got a variety of different museums. And so you can museum hop a little bit. And so you can kind of see those important pieces and in a pretty short period of time. You still won't be able to get to see everything all in one day unless you're a super fast walker, but you can definitely see the important parts. You've got the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam War Memorial, and then, as I said, you can hit a couple of the Smithsonian museums for sure.
And what's close? Because I've been to the district a lot of times. I've got friends that live there. I've never been to the National Housing Center. What's right around there that I could do or see?
Yeah, it's metro accessible, which is really nice. So you're really kind of in the heart of Northwest. there are a variety of restaurants and bars that you can go to. You're not far from DuPont Circle, which is great. So, I mean, you've got quite a few different options. If you just kind of walk out either direction, you've got quite a few options within walking distance.
We've covered a lot rather quickly, but I think it's, again, a great opportunity for folks that may know DCSHRM, maybe not. There's a lot going on. It sounds like you have some great keynotes and some really strong breakouts. The biggest question is, I'm really interested, how would one register for the event?
Yeah, so you can go right to our website. It's DCSHRM.org, and you can register right on our site.
If I can't make it, maybe I'm on the other side of the country, but it sounds like you've got some great stuff going on. How would you recommend? I assume DCSHRM has a social presence. Can you tell us the handles or how folks would find out more about DCSHRM beyond the conference?
We have a Facebook page, which you can search and find DCSHRM. We're also pretty active on Twitter, also using the DCSHRM handle. We'd love to have you follow along. We try to be a resource, not just to our members, but to the HR community at large.
And then how about for you personally, Nicole, if folks that hear this want to find you out there, what's the best way to reach you?
You can always find me on LinkedIn if you search Nicole Belyna, and then I'm also on Twitter as well. My handle is itsme_Nicole B.
That's one of my favorite handles, I have to say, because it's catchy and I know exactly who it is, and it's one of my favorites. But Nicole, I appreciate the time and really excited. I'm looking forward to being able to take part in the DCSHRM conference myself, and we'll get this out there. And if hopefully people will be able to attend. And if you hear this, hadn't planned to come, but you hear this podcast, come find me, come find Nicole, say hello, let us know you heard it, and we look forward to seeing you there. For the HR Social Hour Half Hour podcast, DCSHRM Edition, this is John. Everybody take care. Thanks.
Thank you.